Hello. Hello, Prabha.
Hi Rama, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
Just wondering if the sound was working and just checking.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. I think there's just few more minutes, so isn't it?
Okay.
Can you hear me? You can hear
Yeah.
me, right?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Somebody else is here.
I'm just trying to adjust my screen. Okay.
So we don't have power here right now. So
Oh, so are you able I hope it's working on generator now, is it? Right.
no, we just have an inverter. So
Oh,
so that's
fingers
why
crossed.
I had actually put some things together, but it's on my other computer and I can't sync it right now. So
All right.
we'll
Okay.
just have to
Mm.
make do. Yes. I wonder whether Shinjita is here. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, I
Shinjita.
have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think Shinjita has joined us yet. There are the three.
yes. I actually have to give Shinjita. Okay. I think she should be able to share. I think I.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for her so I can check that she can share her
Right.
screen.
She's still not here, I think, no?
Yeah, I don't think she's here yet.
No, she's still not here.
Oh, why is one person showing up multiple times?
Hmm?
Somebody's showing
Unless,
up multiple times. I don't know whether they're having some trouble joining.
oh, and they must be logging from two devices or something.
That could be. Okay, in a couple of minutes, we should just get started because we only have about 40 minutes. So
Okay.
I was just hoping to see if Shinjita. Oh,
Hi.
Shinjita's here. Hello.
Hi.
That's Lavanya.
Oh,
I
hello,
think
Lavanya.
Manju's daughter, yeah.
Yes. How are you?
Fine.
Shinjita is here now.
Yes, I
Just
just saw
not
her joining.
sleeping in the night.
You're
Yeah,
not,
I'll mute myself, I think.
so you're joining our meeting.
Yes.
Oh,
Shinjita,
that's Lavanya. Hi, Lavanya.
Hi.
hello, Shinjita.
Hi.
Question for you. I enable sharing for you. Do you just want to try the screen share just to make sure it's working for you? I enable.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it right away. Yeah.
Yeah, just check it and then we'll get started. Okay, I do seem to see it, so I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So I'll stop share right now.
Yeah, you can stop the share. We'll just do a little bit of a
Yeah.
start and then,
Yeah. Sure.
okay. So let's get started with today's session. And it's actually something I'm very excited about because I think in the last month we have made tremendous strides with LifeSmart. And I think it's very interesting that we have taken off through a pretty simple idea of the 100-day project. We have been talking about LifeSmart for, several months. But I think that 100-day format has worked really well because we have people who are, at all different stages. We have parents in all different situations, children at all different stages. So it's really, gives us something common, a common ground that we can all use. So I think that 100-day format is something that has worked really well for us. And I think that's going to be our format going forward. The second thing the 100-day format has done is it creates um, an immersive experience, which is just do it. You just get started with wherever you are. Wherever you are, you have some idea about what is important for your child, what you want to work on. You have some idea about where you are right now. And so just based on that, you choose a project and just get started. It's as simple as that. So because it's, at that level, we don't have to really think about, oh, do I understand all of LifeSmart? Do I understand all the elements? Not to worry, just jump right in, get started, and we'll figure it out as we go. So I think that's the other reason it's worked well. Last month when we started, we actually stopped talking about LifeSmart for a while. We were just talking about, okay, we are working on, Shinjita was working on co-regulation, somebody was working on play, somebody else is working on PECs, and it's all right, everything is fine. We just do whatever we are doing, come back and share, talk about it, people get feedback, and it's very encouraging. At least for me, I find it motivating when we have people to talk about what we are doing. So that's sort of how we worked on it for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then what happened, actually it became very, very easy to apply LifeSmart after that, because you were already in the project, people are doing the project. So I was very surprised this time when I said, okay, this month, let us start with the LifeSmart roadmap. Within a day, almost everybody had done the roadmap. So it just showed me that once you have started a project, once you're immersed in it, the roadmap actually becomes much easier to do because you have a tangible project for doing your roadmap. So I think that process works well. Just get started with a 100-day project, choose a priority, focus on it. And it's something, personally, I find it very helpful, because one of the struggles that we had for many years as a parent was just being consistent. We have so many different possibilities, we have so many resources, we have so many ideas, but just being consistent can be difficult. So the 100-day format says, okay, let's forget about all these hundreds of things we can be doing. Let's choose something we know is important and just try to stay focused on that for 100 days. And at the end of those 100 days, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. It's just that hopefully by then it becomes a habit. We have more capacity for it. So for example, if Shinjita is doing co-regulation for 100 days, it's just going to become so much easier for her that it becomes a little bit more automatic, and then she can turn her attention to something else. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shinjita to explain her project, because I think it would be good to hear a particular example, and then we can have a discussion. I also want to talk about her groups, but I'll do that after Shinjita has presented her project. So over to you, Shinjita.
Okay, thank you, Rama ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to explain my project. So I've taken 100 days of co-regulation. So I'll just share my screen to start the presentation. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I started with 100 days of regulation, co-regulation. So it's been only, I think, 25 to 27 days I've started. And it has already become a rhythm sort of a thing. I can think of it's coming a little bit naturally also. Like all of a sudden, choosing an activity and converting into a co-regulation activity. So which is really I'm really happy with that. So okay. So now first thing is, what is co-regulation? So, co regulation, I feel, is social referencing. It is assessing the environment and adjusting our responses accordingly. So, there's a lot of back and forth communication, mostly non-verbal, like gestures, body language, facial expressions. So, like, I'll give you an example, like, mommy and child are walking together. So, mommy stops to talk to her friend. So, seeing that, the child should also stop. If the child stops, that means the child is in sync or is has a good co-regulation with mommy. So if the child will stop and wait for mommy to resume. So that is an example of co-regulation. Okay, so now there's a pattern in all the scenarios, and every participant, I feel, that has a role. Like we are in a gathering, we are in a gathering, and there's a lot of back and forth communication happening. So a lot of back and forth of exchange of ideas. Some people are asking questions, some are sharing their experiences. Yeah, okay, go. Yeah, go. So Harsh, isko dekh lo zara. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So some people are sharing their experiences, some are asking questions, some are plainly listening, like that. So neurotypicals have the ability to judge the environment and behave accordingly. But our kids with autism don't have that. So we have to teach them all these things with the help of all these back and forth activities. So we choose some activities, we do some variations in the activities, and we throw some challenges in the activities to, and that's how we progress. So this is what I feel is co-regulation. In a nutshell, you can say it is being in sync with the environment, being there moment to moment, and learn to trust the environment, learn to trust whoever is there with you having the conversation or in the scenario. Yeah, so that's it. What I feel the co-regulation is. I'm still new to it. Maybe Rama ma'am later on can explain better. Okay. So why I chose co-regulation? So I feel that Vidusha isn't in sync with me. I'm always fearful that I might lose Vidusha in a crowd. Let's say I'm going to a movie theater or I'm going in a mall. I'm half of my mind is there if Vidusha is next to me, is Vidusha next to me. So because she's not in sync with me, if she wants to walk, she'll just keep on walking. She'll not see that mommy has stopped to look at something or something like that. So that is one thing. And she doesn't know natural back and forth communication, even non-verbal. And she isn't very well versed with socially appropriate behaviors. Like I'll give you an example is that nowadays she's obsessed with loose threads. So wherever she sees, she has to pick it up and throw. So even if, let's say, I'm ironing a cloth and in between she sees a thread or a hair, so she has to immediately come and pick it up. So that becomes a little dangerous also. So, and we are walking somewhere and she sees a thread in someone's bag. So she immediately rushes to that to pick that thread. And that thread is in a stranger's bag. So it becomes a little awkward. It's not a very socially appropriate behavior. And so that is one thing. And she's anxious most of the time. And because of her anxiety, she gets a lot of behaviors start coming in. So when Ram suggested that I should look for co-regulation, so I thought, okay, let's just see. I read about it and saw some examples, saw some videos on YouTube. And then I thought, okay, the project also was coming up. I thought, why not give it a try? This is lockdown. Anyways, we are all at home. I can give it a try. And more, I started reading about it more and I started learning more and started experimenting with Vidusha. And I started seeing small changes before Vidusha. I started changes seeing in me itself. So I was like, if let's say in the worst case scenario, it doesn't come out well with Vidusha, at least I'll be in a better place as a person. So this is one, you can say, reason to choose co-regulation. Now, how to practice co-regulation? So we can do a lot of activities which occur in daily lives, like washing dishes, you play with your child passing the ball, and our favorite activity is reading, which we do every single day. And another is putting grocery away, hanging laundry in the stand, and taking off laundry from the stand. So how do we do it? So first and foremost is we assign roles. So I'll take an example of taking off the dried laundry from the stand, which we do. So Vidusha's role is to take off one cloth, to open the clip, take, take off the clip and pull the cloth down and give it to mommy and put the clip in the bag. And mommy's role is to fold the cloth and put it in the chair. So these are the roles assigned. Now there's a pattern, a lot of back and forth. She's taking off the clothes, giving it to mommy, mommy is folding. There's a lot of back and forth happening. There's a pattern in it and repetitive. And so now we add a variation to it. So variation is I start folding the clothes very, very slowly. Now Vidusha has to match up to my pace because mommy is taking so much time in folding just one plain cloth. So she should not wander off in the environment. She should be there with me. Let's say, even if there's a pigeon flying, and even if she looks at that, she should come back to me. Another variation would be I started folding cloth very quickly. So she has to match up to my pace. So like these, we can add variations. So now the challenge to it later on. This I tried today itself, today morning. So the thing is that our stand is high up on the ceiling. We have to pull it down. So every day I pull it down to Vidusha's level so she can take it off clothes easily. Today I didn't do it. It was still up there. So we went to the balcony and okay, she knows what she has to do. So I didn't have to tell her. So she started looking at me. She looked up to the stand. Then she looked at me. I looked at her. Then I gave a non-verbal, I don't know what to do. So there were some pigeons flying. She started looking at them. Then again, she came back. She turned to me. And then all of a sudden, she looked up and she raised her hand, reach, reach. So that was really, she did a little bit of problem solving that she's not able to get it because it's high up there. So she was saying she's not able to reach it just by saying reach, reach. So that was really an aha moment for me that, wow, this is working. The communication is coming and she's able to tell, she's able to problem solve that, okay, every day it is already there in front of her, but today it is not there. So this is the whole scenario of co-regulation. That's how you practice. Okay, there are certain things we need to keep in mind when we are practicing co-regulation. So first and foremost, the golden rule is to wait for 45 seconds. So while I'll give you an example of reading. So Vidusha's role is to turn the page and mommy's role is to read the pages, read the story. So sometimes I've noticed that Vidusha, while I'm reading the story, Vidusha starts looking here and there. But she knows the story or she knows that, okay, I have stopped. So she comes back and immediately turns the page. Sometimes she doesn't. She's still looking somewhere else, or she, even if she's looking at the page, she's not turning the page. So I wait. And trust me, she most of the time she does come back. If she doesn't come back, then I slightly just tap on the corner of the page that just to give her the clue that she has to turn the page. So the golden rule is wait, and it's very hard in the beginning, but gradually we learn it. Okay, second is don't focus on the skill but on the process. So skill is like I have messed up this one, I've messed up a couple of times, so I can give you better example. We started with washing the dishes. So Vidusha's role, my role was washing the dishes, and Vidusha, I had to give it to Vidusha, and Vidusha's role was to put it in the basket. So then after 1 or 2 days, it went on good. Then we changed the roles. Vidusha was rinsing, and I was putting it in the basket. And I messed up. I started focusing more on the skill. I started teaching her how to rinse it properly. And the process was gone. Then 1 or 2 days we did, and third day she didn't want to come back to it. I tried for 2 more days, she didn't come back. So we have lost that activity now because I started focusing on the skill rather than the process. That just back and forth activity so that she enjoys. No, because I started focus, I said, no, you have to rinse it like that, put your hand inside this and that. So I lost it. Second, next is refrain from prompting and instructing. That's also very tough because at least I was very used to of, jumping to her, overcompensating. If she's not able to do it, immediately I hardly wait for 5 seconds and start saying it again and again and again. So we have to stop from that. And if needed, then give non-verbal cues. That really works. Yeah. And don't force any role in an activity if the child doesn't want to do it. Go with the flow. Like we were doing passing the ball. And I would roll the ball to Vidusha, she would get it and roll it back to me. I noticed that Vidusha was not enjoying it. So I just changed it to catch and throw. And I realized that she was there in the moment, maybe because she was scared that ball will come hit her or whatever. But I changed the role. I changed the activity a little bit because she was not enjoying it. So we have to do a little bit of tweaks when you're doing an activity and judging that, okay, with the child is not able to enjoy that activity. Next is it create competent roles for each other. So the role, whatever you are assigning to the child, it should not be very easy so that the child gets bored, or it should not be too tough. So let's say if I've asked Vidusha to take off clothes from the stand. So I know that she can pull clothes from the stand. She can open the clip and or take off the clip from the stand. So if you know that your child can do it, then only you assign those roles. So I know that she can do it, so I assign that role to her. So likewise, you also judge what your child can or cannot do and assign roles accordingly. Okay. So how it has changed me and Vidusha. Vidusha, recently, last 1 or 2 days, I've started seeing some changes. Like today was big one change I noticed when she said reach, reach. So, but I have started seeing changes in me. That 45-second wait has taken the anxiety down of mine as well as Vidusha's. Because I'm not after her every 5 seconds, do this, do that. She knows that I'm waiting. And most of the time now, if we are doing any activity, she knows her role. If I explain her well, she knows what to do and she's able to uh, do the activity pretty well. Like just yesterday, there were some lychees there on the kitchen counter and I had to wash them. So I called Vidusha and I said, okay, let's do this together. So there was a bowl of water and there was a big bunch of lychees. So Vidusha's role was to cut the lychees from the stem. My role was to take out one stem at a time from the bunch and give it to Vidusha. It's a very simple activity, but a lot of back and forth happening. And we did it very well. She was there till the last stem, and then she put them all in the water, and then she started washing also. She really enjoyed the activity. So now I think I can say that it is becoming co-regulation is becoming quite natural to me. I am able to do it as I go. I don't have to plan for an activity. Like in the beginning, I used to plan. I used to write Vidusha's role, mommy's role. So now I don't have to do it much. And I can switch from one role to another and I can think of variations quickly. And it has really made me calmer, that I can say. And I can sense that when we are reading. So earlier, I had a lot of expectations from Vidusha. Okay, I know she can read, so she should read one line. You know that expectation that she should read one line. That is not there. I know that her role is this, my role is this. So expect set of expectations also. My expectations have also come down, and which has brought a lot of calmness uh, in our activity which we are doing it together, and we love it. So I've seen that the activities which we started and which we are doing it, Vidusha likes doing those activities now. I don't have to forcefully bring her to any activity. Earlier it was like that. I had to force her. I had to lure her with something. Let's do this, then I'll give you this. So that has gone now. I just say, Vidusha, let's go, let's read. So in a day we are reading, you can say 7 or 8 storybooks. Earlier it was 3 or 4, and now it has 7 or 8 because both of us like it now. It's not only her. I also like doing it. Earlier it was like a compulsory thing. I was thinking, oh, who else will do if I will not do it for my child? So that feeling has gone off my shoulders. I enjoy what I'm doing because the anxiety is down, the set of expectations are down, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah, so I would request all of you to try it. At least, we can do 1 or 2 activities in a day. That would be very nice. Yeah, thank you, Rama ma'am.
Thank you, Shinjita. That was very helpful. And just a couple of comments because I was thinking back to our journey with RDI, relationship development intervention. We started that when Anant was about 6. And I was actually remember, what you were saying about Vidusha probably just going away somewhere. So that used to be actually a major source of anxiety for me with Anand, especially if you were in a place where he saw an elevator or an escalator. We had to be like, okay, he's going to take off if I take my eye off him. And it was amazing, just after a couple of months of RDI, that just went away because he just started referencing me more non-verbally. And so when it was really interesting when he was doing his Arangetram in October, after the interval, I think he was really tired. And he couple of places he was having a little bit of trouble. So I was smiling to myself because as soon as he got, stuck, he turned and looked at his guru and then, okay, get me out of here. And so, when I saw that nonverbal, so, okay, maybe he messed up a few dance steps, but he got his referencing right. So only those of us who've walked this path understand the significance of that. So I was really happy to see that, generalizing and happening there. So that was just a referencing story. Shubha, you had anything to add? Shubha, are you there?
Yeah. I think the co-regulation piece, it evolves over time. And also, like what we have seen is when he was younger, that really helped in developing independent skills as well, because we used to do a lot of in RDI, we used to do a lot of like folding clothes together, putting vessels in the dishwasher, and sweeping, etc. We used to do a lot of those together. One is that helped, like Shinjita said, in creating a bond. And I think that strong bond is kind of very important as they grow up. Now that has evolved into, okay, those activities are all independent and he can do it. So now that co-regulation has transferred into other things, like we co-regulate while learning together, playing games like Scrabble together. I see that co-regulation makes a big difference. And like Shinjita said, it is very enjoyable for both the parties involved, and it's not like, okay, now I've got to wait forever, or this and it evolves over time. So I think that's a very important piece. And the social referencing was another important thing that RDI taught us. Even on walks, now that he's a little older, he wants to be a little independent, so we walk separately, not together, but he is leading the way, but he always references back to see whether we are there or not there, where are we. And another thing, distant co-regulation, in the sense that, yeah, today suddenly daddy went to work, he did not tell me, so what should I do? I'll problem solve and call him and ask him where he is. So that is different. I mean, it is not that you're sitting there together, but it evolves over time into different things. And sometimes there are setbacks in the co-regulation too. And then you have to go back and start where we started. So that's like, I think as they grow up, the journey evolves. But if the co-regulation piece is there, it can be generalized into any setting. That's what I feel.
So thank you, Shubha. We actually have only 10 more minutes left, so we can take a question or two, and then I have to say a few things about the groups and then wrap up. I'll post the video tomorrow, and then we can continue this discussion in the groups after that. So any other questions or comments for Shinjita?
Actually, Rama, I have something to say. I think Shinjita, you've really the presentation you made it so great, and the key takeaways that even sometimes, okay, I was like, this is something I have to remember now, even after I've done it for so many years, is that waiting
Yeah.
for them to respond back and not jumping in and prompting. I think that's a big piece. And that sometimes also reinforces the social referencing.
And I think tying it back to LifeSmart, I thought you had a really good structure for the presentation because, we can actually follow the same structure if other parents present, because you started with why you chose that 100-day project. So you framed that in, and then you gave some very specific tips based on your experience. You shared how things evolved for you. So thank you very much,
Yeah.
because I think you've set the stage for future presentations as well.
Yeah, so as you know, I document everything in a Google Doc, so I can share that again. Whatever I have read, whatever I have did, whatever sort of research I did on co-regulation, that is also there. So if anybody wants to take in, they can just take in from there.
Thank you, Shinjita. So a few comments about the groups. I think somewhere after a few months, I switched to multiple groups because we have a really active group, which is very good. But also what that means is sometimes the flow of information is overwhelming. And so I started with only one group, which was LifeSmart Families. And then at a point, it was very difficult to figure out what was going on in that group. So we first split off LifeSmart Parenting, and that is still there. LifeSmart Parenting is where you go if you're starting out, especially for younger parents. I mean, parents of younger children or parents who are just starting out. It's really a good place to go. That's a place where if a parent has, oh, I'm really lost, I'm just starting, I don't know what to do. And that kind of a conversation, the parenting group is a place to get support, a place to get resources. There are several excellent professionals and parent support there. So if you're starting out, the LifeSmart Parenting is a good group to go to. The LifeSmart Explorations is our lab. So if you come there, be prepared for a heavy volume of posting, because we are there, because we are there every day. We all share whatever we did, so there are daily shares, video shares. We all look at each other's videos, give comments. So it's a very active group. But the positive side of it is, people watch those videos and watch those exchanges, and they get a lot of ideas on what they could be doing. But I want you to know, for some people that volume is too high, and it's something to consider. The LifeSmart Families, I'm hoping will be more streamlined. So I've requested all our active parents like Shinjita and others who've been working on this. We are going to streamline the the presentation there. So 1 week I might request Shinjita to share about her project, and since this time she's speaking, I may ask her to share her plan as well, and we can just do a deeper dive into her project. And then similarly, we can go on to other projects, one each week. So that way it's less overwhelming. And, the focus is still on the 100-day project, because that's definitely emerging as our implementation vehicle, because we've been able to, we are doing coding and other kinds of things, and there are people doing PECs and the really early things, and we can all come together on the 100-day format. So it's something that we're all able to come together on. So that we are continuing. So LifeSmart Families is going to be more streamlined. So if you have just some general resources to share, oh, I found this really nice website or anything like that, please don't share it in LifeSmart Families. LifeSmart Parenting or Explorations are the better places to share those kind of things. So that's the idea. Then the fourth one is the LifeSmart Toolkit, where it will be more of just our sharing the tools. We think tools are very important to organize what you're doing, planning, tracking, and so on. So the LifeSmart Kit and other tools, that will be the focus of the LifeSmart toolkit. So it all flows together, of course, because if you're doing, sharing the project and say talking about co-regulation, you may also then look at what's going on in the LifeSmart toolkit and then use the LifeSmart tools to better organize your 100-day project, but also relate your 100-day project to the longer term picture, because the 100 days are more of a short-term thing, but then how do you weave it all together for the longer term? So that's the Till tomorrow. Okay, that's okay. I'll come. Okay, so looks like we're not getting power for a while, so he's not happy about that. So okay, so that's basically about the groups, and so we'll stop here because I think we've had a good discussion. I'll post the session today, and then we can continue our conversation in LifeSmart families on this presentation. So thank you again, Shinjita. That was really very helpful.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.